just taking a nap. Haven't even started the video and she fell asleep. Ferro Rods. Let's check him out.
Hey campers, Georgia, back in the man cave. Shock and horror, right? Just sitting here doing some reading. The other day I was reading an article about Ferrocerium Rods, a Ferro Rod. A lot of people call them fire steel, which is a very loose interpretation. It's not really the correct name, but people use it when referring to ferro rods. It was a really interesting article, and it got me thinking. Scrabbled around in all my packs and everything and pulled out a bunch of my ferro rods and had a look at them, and I was like, wow, they're all different. Why? Shortcuts in the description below. So I read up a little bit more on them, and it's actually interesting to read about it. Back in the 1903, I believe, I thought I made some notes. I don't know what I did with them. A guy by the name of Baron Carl von Luesbach was doing some research on different metals, and mainly what he was dealing with was rare earth metals. And there's a bunch of them apparently, and I would tell you about them, but I can't pronounce half the names. Anyway, what he discovered was that when you mix some of them together, they actually produce a spark. And from that, what he did initially was he used two particular metals. He mixed iron and cerium, I think it's pronounced. And he mixed them together in a combination of about 30-70%. 70% iron and 30% cerium. And found that he could produce a really hot spark with. Later on, he went back and looked at it again and added some other metals to it, and like magnesium, things like that, to improve the quality of the spark, get a brighter spark, a hotter spark, and using the metals that had a low ignition quality. So that was how it was really developed. And in this day and age, fire steel, ferro rods, there's thousands of them out there. Just type in ferro rod in Google or even Amazon, eBay, anything like that, and you're going to get all sorts of information. I decided I needed to pull out my ferro rods and have a look-see. I'm a ferro rod fan. I love making fire with a ferro rod. Granted, a basic big lighter is a lot easier, a box of matches. But the biggest advantage of a ferro rod or even magnesium block is that you don't need fuel for it. It's self-fueling. All you have to do is scrape it and it'll ignite. And that magnesium, put a bit of heat on it and it'll burn really, really hot. The big advantage is that they're waterproof. I mean, not waterproof, but they'll work when they're wet. The problem with ferrocerium, because it has iron in it, will tend to rust, so you need to clean them and dry them up when you're done. And it's a little wet out there and you use it. But other than that, they're going to work 9 times out of 10. Maybe 9.9 times out of 10. Obviously, if you're like me, it's kind of hit and miss, and it's not because of the ferro rod. Obviously, you have to have a striker, and they found that, obviously, they found that a steel striker works the best to scrape the combo, and that's what it gives you the spark. That got me thinking. Most people who spend any time out in the wilderness doing even regular camping or just making a fire in the backyard have all heard about a ferro rod or fire steel. Some of them have heard about it, some have used them, and a lot of people live by them. I do. I have a lot. And I have them in my packs with my knives, things like that, my survival packs, my possibles pouch, all that stuff. Has a ferrocerium rod in it. People out there that make their own ferro rods, they sell them, and they're very good. They're high quality, and produce a spark that you can't beat. So I had them here, and I thought I'm going to look into them and see if I can find some more information about each one, and then I'm going to do me a spark off. Going to go out there in the South 40 and burn the place to the ground and see if there is that much difference. Does size matter? Does the shape, believe it or not, of the rod, does that make a difference? Obviously, what is in it will make a difference. You know, there's so many factors, and I thought I want to have a look at that. So you know what? Thought I'd tag you along while we do that. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go through and show you all my different ferro rods that I've got, and we'll then go and do some sparking. I'll try and get you as much information on each one so you can see what they're about. And surprisingly, all different sizes, thicknesses, and shapes. So truth be told, the first thing I did was pulled out all my Ferrocerium rods, the ones I already had. They just stuff that when I'd bought in a first aid kit or bought a little survival kit or just bought one online, and those are the ones that I had. And then I went to Amazon and I set my price limit at about $20 and said, let's see if I can come up with 3 ferro rods, 3 different ones, different kinds, whatever they offer with it, and see what I can come up with. All based about the same price, and I wanted to see just how different each one is, and is there a particular type of Ferrocerium rod we should be using, one that gives a better spark? Is there a reason for it, and why? That's just me, Curious George. Don't go there. I'm going to go through each one of these and have a look at, give you a short description, give you all the information I could find about them, what they're typically made of, see if there's any percentages are given or anything like that, and then we'll go and scrape them and start a fire. I like making fire. It's probably the best thing about camping. Scraping up some sparks and watching things burn. And there's more to it than that. Tinder, how to build a fire, how to use a Ferrocerium rod, what's the correct way. I have my ways of using it, and I'm self-taught. You know, hit and miss, looked at a couple of videos and came up with what suited me. But that's a whole nother story. Shortcuts in the description below. Okay, here we go. First one we're going to have a look at is Coglan's. And I looked that up. They advertise it as a flint striker. So that's what they call it. You can see it says Coglan's on there. And then they go on in the description to say it is fireproof in solid form. They describe it as a magnesium fire starting tool. So I'm assuming that they have a lot more magnesium in it. I don't know. Couldn't really find anything else to help me with the description. The actual rod itself is 3 inches from the handle, and it does give you a little handle on you. It's just a plastic handle to use it. So that's the Coglan's. Where did I get it? Walmart, I believe, or at Shields. Can't remember. Another one that I got, and this is the one that I bought on Amazon, and it has that name I couldn't pronounce, the Uberleben. In the description on Amazon, they say it is a Uberleben fire starter. And in the description, they say thick bushcraft fire steel with handcrafted handle, 12 to 20,000 strikes on it. Traditional survival ferro rod and neck lanyard, so you can wear it around your neck. I'm not a neck guy. Okay. In the description, these guys actually get right into it. And it says features and details, and I'll read to you what they say. Handcrafted hardwood handle, traditionally inspired materials, the normal stuff. Best fire rod blend, period. The Uberleben, I'm just butchering this name. Ferrocerium is the perfect balance between softness and durability. Consistently outperforms the leading fire starters. Easily throw a 5,500 Fahrenheit shower of molten sparks in any weather. It is waterproof and at any altitude. something. They obviously are touting that their ferrocerium that they use in this is better than anybody else's. We will see. Next up, we have the one that's on my swamp romper from Condor, the Gerber one. And it does say BG on the back, Bear Grylls. And I think this was a part of one of his little, very small pocket style survival kits. Couldn't really find any description on it because it was part of a package. It's the length of the rod, and it is 1.5 inches long to the handle, and it has a plastic handle on it, has a little lanyard on it. I have used it a couple of times. Most of these I have that I do have. I have the Mora knife that had the built-in ferro rod on it. I did the review on this. I'll put a link below if you want to go and have a look at the review on the knife and everything. You'll see how well it showers, but I'm hoping to show you that anyway. Just so that you know, just about every single one says it is weatherproof, which makes sense. The only issue you're going to have is the more iron it has in it, the more it'll rust when it gets wet. So keeping them dry is a good idea. So in the description, this, like I said, it came with the knife, and it's the Mora Companion Spark. And in the description, they just say it has a fire starter with it. And then in the features and details, they say includes a fire starter that twist lock on the high friction non-slip rubber handle. Spine of the blade is ground especially for use with a fire starter. It does work well, I'll tell you that. And the integrated fire starter is made from a magnesium alloy that produces a 3000 degree Celsius or 5400 Fahrenheit spark. Works when wet and lasts for approximately 3000 spikes. So length, the actual rod from the handle, 1.5 inches. So that, you know, when they're talking about putting on knives and small kits, seems to be about 1.5 inches. The diameter, and this is 1/4 inch, and most of mine are the small ones are there. So that's the Mora Companion Spark fire starter built in. The next one I have here is the one that had the unusual striker on it, which is why I wanted to look at it. And this is, it says the brand is Usnea. I don't know how to pronounce that. I don't know if it's one word or what. It's Usnea. Say hello to Mary. She's coming to inspect. She wants to make sure I'm not going to burn the house down. So as I was saying, you've got this guy here, and you can see the label there. And you can see what I mean about the scraper. It is basically a half cylinder. On the end, it has like teeth on it, and these edges here are pretty sharp. Standard, they're saying here that the length is 6 inches, which is about right, and it is a 1/2 inch one. It's normal round. It's pretty typical. This one has some real weight to it though. It feels very heavy. And that doesn't include, I'm talking about the actual ferro rod, and then the strike, and it has a little bottle opener on it. I think if they were going to do that, they could have done a little bit more with it maybe. These teeth here, not sure, but let's have a look at the description. It says a functional design, a very large rod, starts fires fast, easy to handle because of the size. Then they go to say that functional design, U-shaped striker, enables to effectively direct sparks towards your tinder, makes fire stick compatible when folded. Oh, they're talking about when folded. Basically, this sits in there like that, so it doesn't really take up a lot of extra space. The scraper that allows to scrape extra magnesium for fire initiation in difficult conditions. Striker is made of premium stainless steel, not stainless knife steel. The striker also has a bottle opener. Long-lasting, minimalistic, strong strength design. This ferro rod, extremely durable, sparks up to 30,000 times. Your car waterproof, water resistant. And they do offer a 100% money back guarantee, but they don't really say what it's made of. They just say ferrocerium and magnesium. And the price, $13-14. If this piece here, it's kind of hard to see. It's actually ground down to a point with those spikes, and I think you can use that to get yourself some tinder off wood. Scrape the wood with it. I would assume strike it with these edges, and it has the bottle opener. And here we have the BSGB kit. It comes with a couple of different things, and what it included was you have wood handle, you have the ferro rod on the handle, and it has that steel striker on it with a nice little leather pouchy thing, I suppose you would call it. Sits on there, and it has these beads which make you feel better, allegedly. Carabiner, a spare ferro rod. And looking at it, you can see here the one end is threaded and it screws into the handle. This one's in there pretty hard. Oh, comes out. You can see it unscrews, screws back in. BSGB people, let's have a look at their description. High quality magnesium alloy ferro rod, 5-inch, 12.5 centimeters total length, and a 5/16 inch or 8 millimeter thick quality Ferrocerium rod. 2 of them, you have 1 spare. 5,500 degree Fahrenheit spark. Up to 12,000 strikes. Handcrafted wood handle designed for easy use functionality in the front. The handle is traditional looking. Looking at the striker, there's no teeth. It does have nice sharp edges on it, and I'm seeing no teeth, and I'm seeing nothing to keep it safe. I assume that there is a different striker you can get with it. It is a kit which is a little bit different from just a ferro rod and handle. It does have the extras with it, and it was a whopping $16. The DeBizz fire starter kit, they call it a ferro rod kit. This is the one that has that square ferro rod, which got my attention. And looking forward to giving this a try to see if it makes a difference. Let's have a look at the description. Like I said, it is part of a kit, and you got the ferro rod, and you got these guys here, which are actually steel cable that goes around and they screw together to make your loop. And it's just a screw-on connector through the rod and screw this guy on. And there you have it there. They do give you 2. They do have the traditional style striker. This has the scraper on the front, bottle opener, some measurements, and it did come with fire bellow. You will see these, the intent. Blow into it and keep your fire going when you are using poor quality tinder, that sort of thing, and you want to get it going, you can blow on it. It has a little lanyard thing here and a quick release on it, so you can attach this to whatever you want to attach it to and just quick release the whole lot together. Is these guys. I own 3 of them. I bought one a long time ago and ended up buying another 2 because I really liked them. And this is the ErricX Light Ferro Rod. And you can see there, ErricX Light, about 6 inches long, 1/2 inch, and nice and solid, got some weight, has a lanyard hole, and they work well. That's why I bought another 2, and I used them for years, and then I started picking up all these other little ones along the way. You know how that goes. Pretty happy with it. Let me see if I can find the description and see what they say about theirs. An ErricX Light 2-piece, 1/2 inch, 6-inch Ferrocerium Rod, flint fire starter. Super thick rod, provided with a decent shower of sparks, drilled lanyard holder, perfect for do-it-yourself, your home survival kit. So these are the only guys that ever said anything about this, and it says, for first time use, stripping the protective layer of paint from the striker before starting a fire will help produce best results. 2-piece, 1/2 inch, 6-inch Ferrocerium Rod flint fire starter by ErricX Light, effective in any weather condition at any altitude. Wet, rain, sun, shine, fallout. Super thick, provides you with a decent shower of sparks, 12,000 strikes. Something I didn't talk about, and that is the hardness of it, how easy it is to strike it. Some are harder and require a much sharper edge to it, but when they're softer, a little bit more lenient if you don't have a perfect sharp edge to it, it will strike. Enough of this. Let's go make fire. Woot!
Yeah, so we're out back in the South 40 here. I'm just going to take each Ferro Rod and give it a couple of strikes and try and light some Tinder with them and see how easy they work. Have a look-see and see what the differences are. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my Mora. It is a nice edge and it works great. So striker for all of them. So be some consistency. That's not going to work. It's a little breezy today, and I was hoping to just make some tinder out of some dry wood, but it keeps blowing away. But I do have my little fire pouch here, petroleum jelly, laundry lint. We'll just make up a couple of little balls of that and see if we can light them. Here we have the ErricX light, the ones that I bought online and I've been using for a while. I have a couple of them. You can see this one's been used, and it gives a pretty good spark. So we're going to see what we can do. And it's going there, but maybe not enough petroleum jelly on the thing, but it's lit and it gives a good spark. You can see that, and I'm not even hitting it that hard. I like this. I like the way it works. Nice, solid. You can also, for those of you not used to a ferro rod and having a problem knocking your tinder away, is to place your hand down solid like this and hold your knife nice and solid, and instead of pushing with the knife, you pull with the ferro rod like that, and you can get some pretty good accuracy out of it, getting the sparks where you want them to go. So here you can see pretty good spark coming out of this guy. Here is the Coglan that I got at Walmart, I believe. I just got it to throw into one of my possibles pouches, and let's see how that does. So I'm going to clean it off a little bit, and let's see what happens. It throws a spark, not as much as the ErricX, and I've noticed that these sparks, they kind of go for quite a while. They stay lit for quite a long time, and you can see how that one does. And that's the Coglan. I'm going to add this guy to it. Let's see what damage we can do with Gerber, Bear Grylls. See how much damage we can do with this guy. Tiny, not a big fan of small ones, but they work. And they've got it working just fine. I think that's more to do with the tinder being a better, having more petroleum on it. Now to put it out like that. So that didn't work too bad. As small as it is, it did the job. I just don't like tight spots with my clumsy hands. This one hasn't been used, so it comes with a paint or whatever coating they have on it. You've got to get rid of that first. So you want to get rid of that before you start trying to strike, because it's going to limit the strike. And let's see what happens. This is the Uberleben. And it lit it just fine, and it gives an okay spark. Surprised at this one. I thought it would give a better spark on it. Oh, there we go. So you've got to get everything cleaned off. It's a little breezy here. We haven't had a lot of rain or anything. I'm a little nervous about having all these sparks around. So that's an Uber guy, and it does come with its own striker. So let's see what we can do with the striker. Oh. Not sure if I like this striker. Kind of beat up. It's a little better. Don't particularly like that striker. But this seems to work just fine. It throws pretty good spark. You can see there. No issues there. Personally, not a big fan of these. They don't work for me. I prefer to use a knife that has a good edge on it. The BSGB that I got online, and it came with the spare rod and all that good stuff on it, and these pretty things. It does have its own striker, but we'll give it a go with the, got to clean it off again, we'll give it a go with the Mora and just get it cleaned off here. I don't want to send sparks everywhere. And it gives a spark. You see how long that one burnt? Ferrocerium. So let's see if we can light these guys. Well, it does spark, and it gives an okay spark. It just, I don't think it's as strong a spark as the other ones so far, but hey, live free or die. And let's try its own striker and see how that works. And it's in this little pouch here, and that comes out. Let's see how we do here. No, nothing. There we go. Suppose you just got to get the right angle. So it works. Operator error, probably. You can see the card there, BSGB. We have the DeBizz. Let's get their stuff out here and have a look. See, I just screwed up the package. Oh, this is the one that I've been wanting to see how it's going to work. And it came with that world famous nasty striker that they all seem to come with. This is the one that really piqued my interest, and it's the square one. Huh. I want to show you something here. I don't know if you can see that. If you look around here, a lot of the metal came off. You see that? Can you see all the little pieces here? Almost like magnesium pieces came off. I wonder if they'll light. Nope. I mean, it throws it gives a good spark. And as far as throwing the spark, it's not bad. I definitely think having it on the edge like that, using the edge, gives it a little bit better scrape to it. But I think you're gonna lose a lot of metal. Not sure about that, but it works. It lit it, and a couple of times when you strike, a lot of the metal came off. You can see it lying all around here. It did light it though. Little disappointing. Thought it would work better. The biggest one I have, this is a 1/2 inch, and it has that tubular striker on it. Yeah. Let's get the nasty paint off of it. Oh, look at that, one strike. So it gives a pretty good, oh, that's impressive. And that's with the knife. Let's see if this thing works. The edges all seem the same here. This one actually, I know, I've been disappointed in each manufacturer's striker. I mean, it gives a good flame. This edge, I think the paint on here is the problem. You got to get the paint off, just like with the Ferrocerium Rod. That'll take getting used to. Because of that curved, you tend to go to the curved side of it and you're not getting any scrape on it. It does have the bottle opener and it does have your Tinder scraper on it as well, which is a nice idea. And I think it's a nice idea and it does work. It's going to take some getting used to. Let me use the Mora on it. And you can see this is a very good rod. I think if you strike it well enough, you have the right striker, it works really well. Nice, big, you're going to get a lot out of it. Easy to handle, it's got some weight. And of course, we're left with one more. And here's the Mora striker, small. Let's see how it does. Wow. This thing, for its size, gives out some serious spark on it. See that? Wow. Yeah, I remember when I tested this, I was impressed with it. Very nice. I think this is a very nice little Ferrocerium rod. Very small. Only problem is, what do you do when you run out? That's interesting. Do you see that? Watch. Oh, no, I won't do it. If you saw it spark before, some of this metal was sitting on the tinder, and when I blew on it, it got hot enough to spark it. Interesting. I like that idea. They did a good job on that. These things, I don't like them. I think the edge isn't good enough. You'd have to grind that edge and get rid of the paint on it and all that good stuff before you could really use it well. So there you go. Just a quick look at my ferro rods. Is it a quality test? Not really. I just wanted to see how much difference there was in using them, and does size, shape, and the striker they provide, does it work? They all give this one, which I'm not a fan of, like I said. I just feel I have more control holding a knife and striking with it. And, this Mora did a great job. It's got a really good edge on it. Although my Knives of Alaska has a good edge on it. Just about all my knives have a good edge on. Biggest disappointment for me, this guy. I thought this would do better. I don't like the metal that it pushed off and didn't burn up. It didn't spark at all. Well, it did spark, but the metal, it left a lot of metal lying down. What do? You live and learn. Will it work? It'll make you a fire. I'd be real wary about the pieces of metal it left behind. Just my view. Out of the little ones, the short ones, I think by far the Mora in the handle is the better ferro rod. This idea here, I think I have to clean all the paint off it to get it to work. I think that's the same issue you're having with these, is that they paint them. Took some of the paint off, and let's see what it does. So there you go. What did it prove? Not very much, but it made me feel better. Now I know more about my ferro rods. I also know a bit more about ferro rods in general. Tinder's a whole nother story. A lot of people will just make their own. They buy the special tinder online or whatever. Cotton balls, laundry lint, petroleum jelly, that works great for me. That's what I carry. Although I do like to try and get tinder from a dry stick and do it that way. It's the old way. I'm an old guy. What can I say? Don't forget, like, share, subscribe. You know the story. And hopefully, I'll be back again soon. Fishing, hopefully catching fish. Or with something else that I need, or don't. Just saying. Thanks for watching. Be safe out there. See you again soon.